fucked up because another movie from 1946 that we're also talking about is the Alfred Hitchcock movie Notorious, that
Notorious.
also features hot, mysterious horse racing scenes. This I had not seen before
No. Yeah.
and was very impressed by. I would even go as far as to say it's maybe one of my favorite Hitchcock movies.
Oh wow. Nice.
I
Nice.
love this thing. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was great.
it's a cool movie. I think there's a lot of style in it and like good banter and that kind of stuff as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah, Cary Grant, Ingrid Bergman.
Yes. Yeah, like a kind of romantic angle, very forward on this one.
The romantic angle. I like how much this is like a romantic thriller, and yet, like, I think especially Cary Grant up until this point has often played like very comedic roles, usually a romantic lead, but like he usually plays very silly characters up until this point, I would say.
At least in the stuff we've seen him in.
Right. Yeah. But I think this feels like a real kind of shift in that like he's playing a much more he's still playing a very like charming character, but he's much less silly
Mhm.
than a lot of previous Cary Grant characters.
He has some different kinds of stuff to do. He's in this movie he is being very restrained. Uh
Mhm.
and it's like it's about him like trying to be professional and also he has feelings of jealousy and love,
I feel like this one
spy stuff.
I feel like this one we can summarize more easily,
Go for it.
which is Ingrid Bergman plays the daughter of a Nazi who is recruited by Cary Grant, who is a spy for the Americans, to rekindle a not even rekindle, but to basically seduce a friend of her now dead father's, who's also a Nazi, and is who is in Brazil doing secret South American Nazi stuff.
Mhm.
That guy is played by Claude Rains. Naturally, Ingrid Bergman and Cary Grant are sort of like falling in love during this, but Cary Grant is like his job is to tell her to go seduce this other guy
Yeah.
so that he can get the intel from him. And so he's having to sort of like restrain all of his emotions and like push them all down and be like, like Ingrid Bergman is like, tell me not to do it, and he's like, I can't. It's like it's my job. It's like,
Right.
but then meanwhile, Claude Rains' character is like hopelessly in love with Ingrid Bergman and is like also kind of charming, and like you get the sense that he is like his feelings are very genuine
Right.
even though he's a bad person. And so there's this thing of like Cary Grant is having to sort of like put on this facade of like coldness in order
Yeah.
for to do his job. And so there is I don't know, it's an interesting take on the kind of like love triangle thing because like there's lots of interesting dynamics happening during it.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, like, I think there's a lot that I like about this movie, but kind of what I will say is that I don't really buy the chemistry between Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman. I
No?
think that
Hmm.
I think that Cary Grant's playing restrained, him being like I'm not seeing like with Brief Encounter, right? It's like from the last episode.
Hmm.
It's like these people who are like bursting out with their feelings and
It's
like
hard to compare any movie romance to Brief Encounter though. Like that is such a high bar.
but I mean it's an example of like some people like who are trying to restrain their feelings,
Right.
but then
Yeah.
they can't help but feel them. And I think that like Cary Grant a lot of the time in this movie just kind of comes off like a jerk, because
Right.
like
He often comes across as just kind of smug or cold or
yeah. So I don't know. If you kind of look past that, I think there are indeed some interesting dynamics happening.
Mhm.
And to put on top of all the kind of like love triangle dynamics are also like the spycraft dynamics where
Mm.
Ingrid Bergman I think is doing like the most heavy lifting in this movie, where she's having to like show her feelings for this guy that she never really liked but like she has this duty, but this duty is something that was like ascribed to her by someone else. But then she's like, I've
Mhm.
got nothing else going on, so I'm going to dedicate my whole life toward taking down these Nazis. But then like she keeps getting pushed to do more and more dangerous things, like, and close to blowing her cover and putting herself in danger in order to get the job done, including like the best scene in the movie where
The
uh
wine cellar?
yes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
best scene in the movie where there's like a party at, the Claude Rains bad guy Nazi's house, and
Yeah.
the two of them are basically trying to like find some kind of secret uranium. They don't know what it is yet, but like this kind of stuff that's being smuggled by the Nazis in
Yeah.
the basement. This perfect like Hitchcock ticking time bomb of when will the wine run out at this party? Because somebody's going to go down to the wine cellar where they are to get more wine. It keeps cutting back to the wine at the party slowly running out, and the
Yeah.
tension is
It is
so
it is
so good.
such, like, classic great Hitchcock filmmaking. Yeah. Another Hitchcock thing, the big MacGuffin of this movie is, right, the Nazis are trying to get uranium for nefarious purposes, and this movie came out in '46, and I guess it was not really public knowledge fully that, like, uranium is what you use to make an atomic bomb,
Hmm.
or it was at least enough of a red flag that the US government had to, like, investigate Hitchcock or, like, the screenwriters to be like, "How did you know that this is, like, exactly the process that needs to happen?" I think they just did their research really well, but it was like they nailed it so much that the government got, like, not upset, but they got concerned, I guess, that
If
they had, like, stolen state secrets to make their silly spy movie.
it feels so much like Hitchcock to be investigated by the US government.
Right,
It
yeah.
it really it really fits with like with what I know about him, I think.
Him being a stinker,
Yes.
to put it lightly.
That whole I also wanna say that that whole section, of the they're at a dinner party and they're going downstairs in the wine cellar and doing all the spy stuff. It had, like Hitman 20 like the 2016 Hitman game, right? Or just, like, the Hitman games in general. It had, like, so much of that same energy. Uh,
Yeah, a lot of sneaking into wine cellars in those games.
yeah.
Right, but it is like this does feel like it has a lot of like very classical like spy movie stuff in it
Yeah.
that is just great fun. I love it. And then of course, right, like they were about to be discovered outside the wine cellar and so they start making out and so then it's like, "Oh, we actually snuck away because like we're having an affair."
Which adds, like, this
Or
kinda
like
jealousy element, for Claude
right.
Rains' character into this whole thing, yeah.
And right, just like another classic like spy movie thing of like, "Oh no, we're caught. Quick, kiss me," which is always sort of like, is that the best? Like, I think you might be doing this because you wanted to kiss somebody, but okay. As Ingrid Bergman's character is getting right deeper and deeper into this thing, Claude Rains asks her to marry him, and so then she's like, in has to commit to that in order not to break her cover, and then eventually, Claude Rains and his mean mom. Of course, every villain needs a mean mom.
He's got I mean,
Very, very big Cyril Karn vibes from this guy.
he's got, I mean, I was gonna say, like, Principal Skinner, which, like
Same. Domineering mothers, not a thing that Hitchcock would ever put in a movie.
yeah.
But so like they discover that she is a honeypot, a spy. But then they can't reveal it because then the other Nazis will kill them because they've let this spy into all of their secret meetings.
It's such a good element. And there's a part where he, where he finds out that he's married to a spy, and he tells his mother who knows how to make the
Oops, I
plans.
married a spy.
Yeah, and he says, "I'm married to an American agent," and then she just sighs, and it's just it's just like, "I need a cigarette."
And then yeah, the ending of this movie I think is great, where Ingrid Bergman is being slowly poisoned by Claude Rains and his mean mom, and until Cary Grant is able to show up, and then undercover is able to like get her out of the house while not revealing sort of what the whole situation is, because there's all the other like secret Nazis there at a
Yeah.
meeting, and Claude Rains keeps trying to leave with them in order to maintain his cover that he's not married to a spy. And Cary Grant's just like, "Sorry, dude, we're taking the car. Bye."
Not my
Um,
problem. And he locks the
yeah,
door.
yeah, and that's the end where it's
It's
like they
so
get
cold.
away,
Yeah.
and it's just like it ends on Claude Rains's like ruined face as like the door closes on him. It's so good. It's so satisfying. Yeah, like I feel like this movie is simultaneously like really tense. I buy the sort of like central romance of it, and it's also just like a romp. It's super fun.
Yeah.
And there's some really cool, just really cool filmmaking in it too. There's like the whole when Ingrid Bergman is drunk driving at the beginning, and she like wakes up and she's all woozy, and there's like a wacky like lens effect where it's like out of focus and it's like shifting all around as she like sees Cary Grant
Mhm.
walking into the room. Just stuff like that that is like just yeah, interesting. Lots of cool like camera blocking. There's an amazing crane shot that like comes down from like all the way down from a like a super wide shot of the whole room from the
With, like, a
ceiling
big
all the way.
party. The big party,
Yeah,
like, tons and tons of people.
tons of extras, and then it goes all the way down to a ring.
Isn't the key in her hand, right?
And it's the key. It's the key. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
like all the way to this like extreme close up.
Yeah. That's it's a shot that calls a lot of attention to itself, but it's a very
Oh, but it
cool one.
rules. Yeah, it's so great.
Speaking of like camera stuff, I thought it was interesting that there are some scenes with the Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman characters in their hotel while they're waiting to receive their job and kind of falling in love.
Hmm.
They're like on their balcony, looking out over this kind of beach area in Brazil, and the it's shot on a stage, and you can see the kind of rough edges of like the rotoscoping like
Hmm.
around them, which it's you don't I guess you don't see that like so often of it's just like it's not like a rear projection. It is like we're doing like our kind of old fashioned chroma key sort of thing
Hmm.
where we are just masking them out, and it was rough
Yeah,
enough that you could tell what was going on, but like it's just kind of interesting to see.
yeah. I do think that's the thing that like maybe doesn't get thought of. I don't know. I feel like people don't remember Hitchcock necessarily as a like VFX heavy director, but like he has lots of visual effects in his movies from like the beginning. Like he's always really kind of experimented with process shots and rear projection and like compositing stuff. And like I feel like this and Rebecca both have lots of like both like big kind of location movies that are shot mostly on studios and have a lot of like fake backdrops and stuff that still have like filmed elements and movement and things to them. Also, that scene is another like sort of Hays Code cheating the Hays Code scene where I think like you weren't allowed to kiss for longer than like 2 seconds on screen or something like that. There was some dumb arbitrary rule, and so they get around it by like by like putting dialogue in between like a bunch of shorter kisses. So they're like their faces are right next to each other, but they're like talking through the kissing kind of,
Yeah.
and so it just draws it out to like the length of a whole scene, right? Way steamier than a normal kiss would be. So it like that is Duffy Hitchcock being like, all right, fine, I'm just gonna make this scene way longer than it would have been.
I saw a quote from Hitchcock of like his pitch for this movie,
Hmm.
which was quote the story of a woman sold for political purposes into sexual enslavement, which like is definitely the um like definitely a very like lurid Hitchcockian kind of thing.
Hmm.
I think it's kind of cool how Ingrid Bergman she gets a lot to do in this movie. It is not like it takes this kind of complicated angle into this like quote unquote like sexual enslavement, right? She is having to go so deep undercover that she is having sex with someone who is a Nazi who she doesn't like, right? And
I
she's
also
stuck in
kind
this
of get the sense
situation.
though that she never actually sleeps with Claude Rains. There is kind of this feeling that I get that like their relationship does feel very chaste. And it does feel very like Claude Rains is clearly like incredibly in love with her, but I feel
Yeah,
like that is almost all the more reason why she can probably string him along to the point of marriage without having sex with him.
maybe. And
Meanwhile, I think there's like her relationship with Cary Grant's character is like so I don't remember any of the character names.
Devlin.
Is right. It's like there's less of sort of like the domestic sort of niceties and of sort of like marriage and this and that, but it's like there's a lot more kind of like it's much more sexually charged,
Right. Yeah.
contrasting,
Mhm.
like romantic relationship stuff.
I think the movie ends up being a lot more complex than than Hitchcock's pitch for it. It's just such a
Yeah.
Hitchcocky like thing of just like,
Right.
ooh,
Yeah.
she's
Ooh,
sold for
creepy.
she's sold for political purposes into sexual enslavement. It's
Yeah.
just like such a kind of Hitchcock kind of
Yeah.
take, I guess.
Although I also think that description does make it sound like Ingrid Bergman's character has a lot less agency than she
Right.
does in the movie.
Yeah.
Like I think even when she agrees to like go along with the plan, you kind of get the sense that she is almost trying to like call Cary Grant's bluff a little bit. Like you're not actually gonna make me go through with this,
Right.
and then he does, and there's like this thing of like both of them want to tell the other person like, no, don't do it. I love you. You like this could never happen. Let's run away together. But like neither of them do, and both of them are like waiting for the other person to say it, but neither, and it's like that. I feel like that kind of stuff is really juicy.
Yeah.
So my hot take on this movie, I had for a long time, I had known or had heard that the Mission Impossible 2 was sort of
Mm.
like vaguely based on or inspired by this movie, and that they had like kind of a similar plot setup. And I had not seen Mission Impossible 2 for easily 10 years. I'm a big Mission Impossible guy. I've watched all of them many times, but 2 was the one I had definitely not seen in the longest amount of time. So after watching this movie, Notorious, I decided to rewatch Mission Impossible 2.
Wow.
And it is Mission Impossible 2 is a straight up remake of Notorious.
Oh, really?
Like I almost think it functions better as a remake of Notorious than as a Mission Impossible movie. Because as a sequel to the first Mission Impossible, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is like the complete other end of like what this movie could be. It's so different. I think it's very funny that Mission Impossible 2 is kind of a like early 2000s like new metal remake of a Hitchcock movie.
Wow.
um and it's like it's like scenes track onto each other way more than I thought that they would. Like there's the scene where Ingrid Bergman is drunk driving with Cary Grant, and like he pulls her out of the car. In Mission Impossible 2, there's the thing of like there's like the goofy car chase along a cliff. So there's like there's like that relationship starts in a car in both movies. There's like the sort of recruitment and argument stuff plays out almost the exact same way. There is a scene right where they meet up at a horse race in
Hmm.
Mission Impossible 2. Thandaway Newton gets poisoned in Mission Impossible 2 with like the super virus or whatever, much like Ingrid Bergman is getting slowly poisoned. There's so many parallels where I was like, I didn't realize that it was like as much of a direct remake
Hmm.
as it is.
I haven't seen Mission Impossible 2. That's interesting.
You should watch it. It's a really silly, dumb version of Notorious
Nice.
with a bunch of Mission Impossible stuff in it. I think the biggest difference is that like right in Notorious, Claude Rains genuinely is in love with Ingrid Bergman, even if she isn't with him. Whereas in Mission Impossible 2, the main villain is like very much not actually in love with the woman who's doing the honeypot scheme, and is like also trying to manipulate her in a like a he's much more of a like callous, like unforgivable villain.
Hmm.
Like there I feel like he's much less vulnerable than Claude Rains is in this, which I think is a lot less interesting.
Claude Rains can do threatening, but he can also do pathetic really well.
Yeah, yeah, and he's really leaning into, I guess, both, but especially the pathetic stuff in this one.
Yeah.